Now, Chris Rock pitched this idea of a great new Saw movie, and the studio greenlit it right away. But was Chris Rock's new idea of a Saw movie really that good? Let's discuss it. Working in the shadows of his father, an esteemed police veteran played by Samuel L. Jackson, brash detective Ezekiel Zeke Banks played by Chris Rock, and his rookie partner played by Max Minghella take charge of a grisly investigation into murders that are eerily reminiscent of the city's gruesome past. Unwittingly entrapped in a deepening mystery, Zeke finds himself at the enter of the killer's morbid games. Now, this new Saw movie is the 9th installment in the Saw franchise, and it's directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. This is his 4th movie in this franchise. He also directed Saw 2, 3, and 4, which is one of my favorite Saw movies so far in this franchise. So when I heard that he was directing this movie, I was really looking forward to it. Now, first off, let's start to talk about the positive things about this movie. Now, in this movie, they have a much more heavy focus on the detective and the police side of things, instead of just purely on the traps and the torture porn that this franchise is used to have. Now, I could compare this movie to kind of a mix between a detective movie, like for example Seven, and a Saw movie. That is what this movie is. It's a mix between those two kind of movies. Now, the production design and the visual effects and everything looks much better in this movie than the previous Saw installments. Because, you know, the previous Saw installments, they used to come out like every Halloween, and there was such a low budget for those movies, so they could just make so many of them. But this time it's a much higher budget, so you can really see that the production design of this movie is much better compared to many of the old Saw movies. Now let's start to talk about the performances in this movie. First off, Chris Rock, I think, did a great performance. You know, I love when all of these actors that are used to having a lot of comedic roles take on a serious role. You know, Sacha Baron Cohen, for example, he is a great example for that. And I think Chris Rock nailed it as well. Now, his character is very dark and gritty in this movie, but he also has a few little jokes on the way, Chris Rock style, of course. And I don't think it ruined the character. I think it worked very good. But the role here that he plays is, for the most part, very serious. You know, the only negative thing I can say about his performance here was that sometimes I think he overreacted a bit. You know, he screamed a lot in many of the scenes. So I think he maybe overreacted some of the times, but despite from that, his performance here was very good. Now, Samuel L. Jackson was also in this movie playing Chris Rock's character's father. You know, I can't say any negative things about his performance because he did a great performance here. But the only negative things I can say about his character was that his character didn't get a lot of screen time. And I think that was very sad because I liked his character and I would like to see more of him. But he didn't get a lot of screen time in this film. But we at least got to hear him say his famous word.
You wanna play games, motherfucker?
Now, even though there aren't as many traps in this movie as the previous Saw installments, the traps here are still very good. One of the traps in this movie, I think, is definitely one of the best traps so far in Saw history. I will not spoil the trap if you have not watched the movie yet, but it was just great. The movie starts off the way you like it. It starts off with a Saw trap, and it really helps set the whole tone of the movie. Now, if you go into this movie expecting a lot of gory traps, I think you will still get satisfied, even though there aren't a lot of traps in this film. Now, as usual, this movie also has a huge plot twist at the end, as all of these Saw films are used to having. But I didn't really think that the big reveal in the ending of this movie had as big of a shock effect as the movie maybe intended, because I think the twist was kind of easy to guess, and I didn't really get as shocked as the movie maybe intended me to get. Now, in this new Saw movie, there is unfortunately no more Billy the Puppet. This time we have a new pig puppet called Mr. Snuggles. Now, overall, I like this new puppet. Nothing special, of course not as great as the original Billy the Puppet, but I thought it was cool that it was a pig puppet because it kind of pays homage to the pig mask that was in some of the other Saw movies. So I think it was a good idea to have this new puppet dressed as a pig. Now, if this is your first Saw movie, I think you will probably get very satisfied with this movie, but if you're a big fan of the old movies and you grew up watching those films, I think you will maybe not get as satisfied with this movie as probably the newer audience to Saw. So overall, even though this movie does not have as many saw traps as the previous installments have, I think the traps in this movie are also very good. I also love that this movie focuses very much on the police and detective investigation side of the movie and not just on the saw traps. So I think that was very good. And also the performances in this movie was great. So my score for Spiral will be a 7 out of 10. Now, I would love to hear your thoughts on this movie down below if you have watched this film. What do you think of it? Do you agree with my thoughts or do you disagree? I would love to hear your thoughts on this movie and your score down in the comment section. Now, if you would like to see more videos like these, please subscribe to my channel, hit a like on this video and click the notification bell. I would appreciate that a lot. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this movie review and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.